Et on va y aller. Allez. On se met bien. C'est le fameux trailer qui a été balancé après le Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase. Quand je vois ce trailer, je me dis l'avenir d'Xbox, ça nous vraiment super radieux. Enfin, c'est juste la liste de jeux la plus riche de l'histoire Xbox. Je vous laisse le trailer. Je vous laisse
Bring me that horizon.
If we can imagine what we can fall into
exclusivement sur Xbox. Redfall. Starfield. Le Starfield. Et puis il y a 27 jeux qui arrivent dans le Game Pass. Voilà. C'est la dinguerie. C'est la dinguerie. C'est la dinguerie. Atomic Heart aussi, assez surprenant. Age of Empire. Ça c'est multi-dalo. Forza Horizon 5, Battlefield 2042, Halo Infinite. Party Animals, Flight Simulator. Sea of Thieves Pirate Live, Age of Empire 4, Redfall, Psychonaut 2, Stalker 2, Plague Tale Requiem, Grounded. Avalanche de jeux. Avalanche de jeux. Bref, les amis, il est bon d'être joueur Xbox en ce moment.
Hello and welcome to Xbox Game Showcase Extended. I'm your host, Paris Lilly. You may also know me from Gamertag Radio and Kind of Funny. I'm excited to be here with you today. We just saw a recap of Sunday's Xbox Showcase, and wow, 30 games from some of the world's most talented developers, and 27 of those games are coming to you on Xbox Game Pass. We saw the first in-engine footage of Starfield and learned that, yes, Bethesda is bringing it to Xbox, PC, and day one on Game Pass exclusively. They also showed us Battlefield 2042, Sea of Thieves, A Pirate's Life, Stalker 2, Psychonauts 2, and Redfall.
Le line-up est quand même très varié. Hein.
Xbox is all about the
Et ça se voit ouais, qu'ils misent tout sur leur jeu. Hein.
Xbox Game Showcase Extended is our chance to hear from the developers behind the games that are redefining interactive entertainment. Developers like Double Fine
est là, Playground, Supergiant, Rare, 340, ah ils sont là. Il y a Ninja Theory aussi, hein. Tu vois, c'est ça que j'adore maintenant. C'est que maintenant ils parlent même pas longtemps, ils passent direct au sujet, c'est trop bien. Franchement, c'est trop bien. Ils ont pas le temps de niaiser, frère. Alors là, c'est Playground qui va commencer, je crois. Avec Forza Horizon 5. Ah oui, ah oui. Ah mais c'est celui qui était là.
Hey, great to be here.
Now, Mike, Forza Horizon has taken driving fans to Colorado, France, Italy, Australia, and the UK. How did you decide on Mexico for Forza Horizon 5?
Ah, parce que c'est trop bien.
Yeah, so we knew right from the start that we wanted it to be the largest Horizon yet. But it's not far down the path from that you realize you don't want to go big if it's just going to be more of the same. So we also knew that it needed to be the most contrasting, most diverse open world we'd ever built. And then when you start to look at Mexico, it really is like the whole world in one country. It's got snowy peaks, tropical jungles, epic canyons,
c'est vrai qu'il y a une très grande variété topographique en fait. Hein. C'est ça qui est assez intéressant au Mexique. Bon, franchement, c'est une très bonne destination. Hein. Franchement, moi, je sais pas. Et pourtant, Dieu sait que le Royaume-Uni, j'étais pas non plus super chaud.
Yeah, totally. So we've got the largest and
pour
most
ma part.
diverse world we've ever built. And as I mentioned just a moment ago, something that really excited us about Mexico is the culture. So we've worked with creatives from all across Mexico. We've had Mexican artists produce beautiful mural artwork that you'll find on the walls around the game. We've worked with Mexican music acts to produce original compositions for the game. We've worked with Mexican scriptwriters and actors so that all of those Mexican voices you hear in the game will sound really authentic. And perhaps not as obvious, but the other thing that is super authentic is all of our light data and skies. So we had a team out in Mexico with our 12K HDR sky capture rig. We captured more than 400 hours of sky data, and then we recreate that in game.
Excusez-nous,
so all of the,
voilà.
the light, the shadows, the color information, all of it is recreated in game based
Alors.
on real light data captured from Mexico. So everything you're seeing there is just has that real authenticity, that feeling of reality.
Now, we got a peek at Event Lab. Now, what can you tell us about that?
Salut Afash
Yeah,
Stream.
so Event Lab is a really exciting new suite of tools that will allow people in the community to create
On se calme dans le chat, je veux pas voir de gros mots. Hein. S'il y en a un avec lequel on n'est pas d'accord, on dit je ne suis pas d'accord parce que. On dit pas ta gueule. Attention. Si jamais vous voulez savoir, si jamais vous voulez avoir plein d'infos sur, excusez-moi, sur Forza Horizon 5, on a fait une vidéo sur la chaîne. Max vous a par ailleurs proposé cette vidéo ce matin. Donc si jamais ça vous intéresse, eh bien n'hésitez pas. Voilà, vous pouvez y aller.
And I would say, as a gamer, it's a feature I'm definitely excited about. This really is going to open up some unique features between me and my friends. Now, with the power of the Xbox Series X and the S,
c'est trop bien, j'ai même pas besoin de traduire les gars, c'est trop stylé. Ah, la puissance.
So in Forza Vista, we're really able to turn up everything, ramp everything on, turn on ray tracing, and we have the cars looking more realistic than they ever have before, unparalleled detail. But that detail, it does apply to the rest of the world as well. During the Xbox E3 showcase the other day, I mentioned we'd modeled the detail on everything, right down to the individual needles on the Choya cactus. That was just the plants that happened to be
c'est complètement ouf. Visuellement, en tout cas, je trouve que c'est complètement ouf. Je sais pas ce que vous en pensez, mais et en plus ça sort en novembre, quoi. C'est vraiment là, quoi. Et disponible aussi, enfin partout, quoi. Disponible en cloud, etc. Enfin, c'est abusé. C'est abusé.
Now, Mike, when can the world expect to play Forza Horizon 5?
Bah, 9 novembre.
Sure. So we're launching this holiday on the Xbox Series consoles, the
One.
Xbox One consoles. We're on PC, on both the Windows 10 Store and Steam. Of course, we're in Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate. And you can play us on your Android device with Xbox Cloud Gaming. And players who purchase the premium edition,
et aussi vous allez pouvoir y jouer en avant-première aussi. Ça se voit que je transpire de ouf.
Now, Mike, this is a huge moment for you and the team. What does this mean to you?
Yeah, well, for me personally, I mean, I've been working on the Forza franchise for a really, really long time, but this is my first game as creative director, so.
Ah bah, c'est pour ça qu'il est archi enjoué.
People are seeing it for the first time. For me, it's probably been one of the most exciting experiences of my life. It's been absolutely incredible.
La qualité des graphismes est hallucinante.
Ah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Later in the show, we'll be hearing from the developers behind games like Age of Empires 4, Shredders, and Grounded. But first, the team at Ninja has something to share with you. Here's Tamim, Chief Creative Ninja, to explain what they've been hard at work on
et ça a l'air d'être dur, hein.
Hellblade 2.
Ah, ça a l'air difficile, hein.
Hello everyone.
Salut mec.
Welcome to our brand spanking new Ninja House in Cambridge. I wanted to give you an update on the work so far for Senua Saga Hellblade 2. What we're doing right now is building a good chunky slice of the game before we then move into full production to build out the rest. Hellblade was very special for us, and we didn't want to do a straight sequel. We wanted to do something extra special, and so we're making our lives as difficult as possible in that pursuit. The game is set in Iceland, 9th century Iceland. So we've been sending out art and audio teams out there.
L'Islande du 19e.
Photogrammetry and combining it with satellite
ça se passe en 1800.
Large swathes.
Mais le premier Hellblade, il se passe en 800 et quelques.
On the character front, we're building real costumes.
C'est sûr, c'est pas une erreur.
Scanning them in. We're collaborating with Epic Games to bring you next generation digital characters.
Ah, Meta Human Creator.
On the combat front, we want it to be extra real and brutal. And so Melina, our main actress, has been training for 2
Et
years.
elle a eu vachement d'entraînement.
Our
Ouais.
animators have undergone
C'est clair,
combat
c'est clair.
training.
Elle a fait des vidéos où elle se battait
And
et
so
tout,
what
c'était
you're going
violent.
to see here is not a trailer, it's not a gameplay reveal, but rather a montage of the kind of work we've been up to. Hope you like it.
Ah, à quoi ça ressemble? Travail en progrès, non finalisé. On a de nouvelles images de Hellblade un peu. Hein. Mais attendez, on est bien d'accord qu'il a dit 19e siècle, donc ça se passe en 1800 et quelques. Comment c'est possible une telle avancée temporelle?
Follow me on this journey
Ah, c'est 9e, hein. Ouais, la traduction c'est 31. Ok.
by sea, by land,
Ce jeu, il va être une dinguerie. Il va être une dinguerie.
over the mountains of rage, to the depths of fear in my mind. You might see me as weak, but I will show you what lies behind my eyes. With our swords, we will forge new stories.
Ça va être trop lourd. C'est pas un trailer officiel, mais c'est tellement lourd.
The gods that haunt us.
Ça pète.
We will embrace our suffering,
Et c'est très Ninja Theory.
soothe our scars of grief, and break their siege of our minds. They may see them as gods, but we will show them what lies behind our eyes.
Gá er í á fjalli, undis njóta.
J'ai tellement hâte du jeu, les gars. Ça va être une dinguerie. Une dinguerie. Une dinguerie. Les mecs m'ont hypé. Il a dit c'est pas un trailer ni un review de gameplay, c'est un petit montage, voilà, c'est ce qu'on a fait. Mais c'est trop bien. La tête au homme que c'est bien. C'est archi bien. C'est le premier jeu qu'on a vu avant le... Enfin avec la console quoi. Franchement c'est ouf. Hein. Après il y a des gens qui ont été déçus du premier, hein. C'est possible. Hein. Effectivement. Mais ça promet du lourd, ça promet du lourd. Il bosse avec Epic Games, donc MetaHuman Creator, ça me semble être là. Hein. Donc je pense qu'Hellblade 2, ça va être la conjonction, en fait, le lien, voilà, entre Unreal Engine 5 et MetaHuman Creator. Deux trucs de fou. Incroyable. Ah, là c'est l'instant manette. Bon. Salut Navin, tu vas bien?
What is Xbox Design Lab?
Design Lab is a controller customization service on Xbox.com where you can choose nearly any color combination you want for your controller and really make it yours. You can design a controller based off your favorite video game character, your favorite sports team, or whatever inspires you. And you can think of Design Lab as your own personal design studio. Now, we've originally launched Design Lab 5 years ago and have since sold millions of controllers to fans around the world. But then we had to take a pause as we brought up our latest generation of Xbox hardware. But now we're back offering customization on the latest generation Xbox wireless controller.
Est-ce que vous, votre manette, vous l'avez personnalisée? Moi, j'ai toujours voulu le faire, mais j'ai jamais réussi à prendre le temps de le faire. En gros, des manettes qui... Ça, c'est le problème quand tu laisses les gens faire leurs trucs, et des fois, ça donne des trucs assez moches. Mais remarque, c'est cool. Mais c'est pas nouveau, t'as tout à fait raison. Salut Eric, t'as raté un petit retour sur Forza Horizon 5 pour expliquer un peu l'ambition du jeu. Et Hellblade 2. Bon, il y avait un petit montage sur le développement, hein, mais... J'attendais que ça revienne pour en faire une. Ah oui, ça va. Il y a certains d'entre vous qui l'ont fait. Ah bah tu peux le faire avec 90 Ronin, tu peux le faire. Tu peux personnaliser tes boutons, tes joysticks, ton D-pad. Mais c'est cool que tu puisses personnaliser tes manettes.
Yeah, so there's a blue and green and purple one that's inspired by
Psychonauts 2, hein, et le second, je sais pas ce que c'est.
We love the key art for that one, so we work with our partners to develop a controller to help bring that to life. And there's also one that's inspired by Grounded and the aphid character from that game. We had a lot of fun in designing that as well. As a controller kind of looks like an aphid if you look at it from the right angles.
Now, I created my own controller. I'm going to pick it up now. I'm a huge Los Angeles Lakers fan. Champion Los Angeles Lakers, and my design was inspired by that, so I went with the yellow on the front, I went with the purple on the back.
Faudrait que je le fasse aussi, ça peut être sympa.
With the black accent along with the shoulders and the triggers. But I also did an inscription on it, and my inscription says, "Ka can't cook." And that is inspired by my good friend, Khalif Adams. He does a fantastic show called Spawn on Me, but he's a terrible cook. So I want to make sure that every time I pick up a controller to play on Xbox, I'm reminded how terrible of a cook he is and to avoid it at all costs.
Ça n'a aucun sens.
But enough of terrible cooking. Let's talk about something that you designed.
Yeah, I designed this controller right in front of me here. Again, on my favorite color, this electric volt. I
Electric
just love
volt.
the way
Moi j'aurais tendance à dire que Red Purple est meilleur. Je sais pas où elle est. Ah bah elle est là.
And this one's inspired by a pair of sneakers I have at home, so I had to make a controller.
Ça c'est la classe.
That's awesome.
Cette manette est
One
classe.
last thing. When can fans expect to start designing?
Il y en a d'autres, mais
Xbox controllers?
voilà.
They can start today by visiting xbox.com/xboxdesignlab.
Ah, pour ceux que ça intéresse, vous pouvez y aller. Hein. Par contre, je vous interdis de faire des manettes Olympiques de Marseille. Hein. Je vous dis clairement, les gars. Ça commence à bien faire.
And most Western European countries. And these make great gifts, whether it's for yourself or that special gamer in your life.
That is fantastic. Naveen, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Paris.
Later in the show, World's Edge.
World's
will give us a
Edge.
deeper look at Age of Empires 4. But first, Tim Schafer is giving us a closer look at Psychonauts 2.
Psychonauts 2, bon, personnellement, j'ai pas une grosse hype pour ce jeu.
Hi everybody, I'm Tim Schafer from Double Fine Productions here today to take a deeper look into Psychonauts 2. Psychonauts 2 is an action-adventure game starring Rasputin Aquato, a powerful young psychic, also a trained acrobat, who ran away from his circus home to join the Psychonauts and expand and explore his psychic abilities. One of Raz's most important psychic abilities is that of astral projection, which allows him to project his psyche into someone else's mind and see their mental landscape made real. He can help them wrestle with their inner demons and fight their actual nightmares in person. Which means that the levels in the game are actually brains. And Psychonauts 2 has even more brains than the first game. One of the first brains you'll get to visit is that of Caligosto Lobato. Now, Dr. Lobato was actually a villain in the first game, but after Raz fought him, they kind of became friends. He actually has a piece of information that Raz wants, which is who kidnapped
Excusez-moi,
Truman Zanotto.
je viens de réagir à vos commentaires sur l'OM. Non mais il n'y a pas de manette l'OM. Il n'y a pas d'OM, donc déjà. Pardonnez-moi du peu, quoi. Manette en noir absolu, ça le ferait. Ça existe déjà? C'est la manette de base de la Xbox Series X. Entièrement noir. Ah, tu parles même les boutons et tout? Je crois que les boutons aussi sont complètement noirs. Elle est trop loin, j'ai la flemme d'aller la chercher, mais vous avez compris le délire.
He's an amateur dentist. He doesn't know a lot about teeth, but he really, really likes them. Luckily, to fight all these enemies, Raz will have his psychic powers.
Un petit deep dive sur Psychonauts.
Punch, where he has these hands that extend psychic
Why
from
not,
his
hein?
body into a powerful melee combo. He also has his psychic
Encore une fois, c'est pas mon jeu par défaut,
powerful energy
mais
beam out of his brain. Raz also has the ability of
c'est sympa.
pyrokinesis. It's always handy to be able to burn things with your mind. And levitation. Raz
PS5 en noir, jamais ou bien. Ah bah là pour la PS5 c'est autre chose. Bon après on a deux coloris qui sont magnifiques d'ailleurs de DualSense. À mon sens. Ah il est beau le jeu hein. Je m'étais pas plus intéressé au jeu mais... Mais PS5 en noir ouais, ça va être compliqué les amis. En tout cas pas pour tout de suite du tout. Du tout. Mais tu peux vraiment changer toutes les touches pour la viser. C'est-à-dire la manette full black c'est la Elite V2. Non mais même la manette de Series X. À moins que ce soit une nuance de gris un peu en arrière, c'est possible. Je comprends pas pourquoi il y a eu un reboot de Everwild, parce que le directeur créatif apparemment a changé et que la vision n'est plus la même. Et c'est compliqué.
Unfortunately, this connection leads to more connections, and eventually the whole thing gets out of Raz's control, and Hollis gets way too interested in gambling. And Raz has to go back into her mind where he finds out that her memories of medical school and where she studied neurology have been corrupted by this gambling interest, and it becomes a casino hospital. And Raz has to actually
Elle est assez
go in
détaillée
there
la
and
presse, hein,
engage
franchement.
with all these gambling machines
Si vraiment
in
t'as envie de te
order
faire un
shut it
point sur
down
tout ce que
and
tu veux savoir
return
sur
all of the
Psychonaut
back
2,
to normal. And she's gonna be
aller,
really mad. Inside Hollis's mind, you'll see bigger, tougher sensors that have turned into
Il y a
bouncers
aussi
inside
que,
the
oui.
casino. And also
Alors
a
Lionel a
new
raison.
idea called Bad Idea. Bad
J'ai répondu
Ideas,
parce que
spawn
la news est prise comme ça,
actual
mais
nasty-looking light
Rare n'a rien
bulbs in their
confirmé.
head
Hein.
that become dangerously explosive and blow up in Raz's
Précision
face.
importante.
Now, headquarters. One of the things that happens in Psychonauts 2 that's most exciting to Raz is that he gets to visit the headquarters
Le
of the
QG.
Psychonauts themselves, which is called the Mother.
T'as raté quoi, Augustin?
This
Salut
is
à
the
toi.
center
Bah
for
écoute,
all
t'as raté
Psychonauts
Hellblade 2,
activity,
mais
and
c'était
Raz
pas
gets to
non
see
plus.
his
Voilà,
old
c'était une
friends
présentation.
Sasha and Mia, who were counselors
Un peu de
at
sur quoi ils
summer camp
bossaient.
in the
Bon,
first
le
game.
trailer, le montage
Now
est
you can
super
see where
stylé.
they work.
C'est pas d'image de jeu,
You
c'est pas du
can see
reveal,
their
hein. C'est
offices,
justement
you can see their labs,
ce que font les
you can see
développeurs,
their
c'est très stylé.
coworkers, other
Il y avait quoi? Il y avait
agents
Forza Horizon
also
5,
get to see
qui c'est un peu plus
the
révélé. Ils ont
admin
parlé
and
des
maintenance
manettes
staff as
Xbox
they go
aussi,
about their
que tu
business
peux
and hang out
designer
in the
par toi-même.
cafeteria.
Et là,
And some
ils
of the
font un point à
everyday
Psychonaut 2,
happenings
avec
of, what life
les
would
choses qui
appear
se
to
rajoutent
be
dans le
normal
gameplay,
in the
etc.
Psychonauts world. There are a lot of little hidden pathways and treasures around the base that he can find, side quests and scavenger hunts, and things that you might recognize from the first game. There's a lot of characters to meet, a lot of fun things to discover, a lot of secrets about the Psychonauts themselves, and the lore of the founding of the Psychonauts, including the Psychic Six, who were seen on stumps around the campfire in the first game, but now we get to go much deeper into the story of how they played a part in the founding of the Psychonauts, how they were brought together and recruited by Ford Cruller and turned into this amazing international espionage force.
c'est-à-dire Excusez-moi, je reviens dans une seconde. Je vais monter ma lumière parce que je crois que je suis pas assez exposé.
Je
vous laisse regarder.
where Raz's adventures took place. And so in the second game, we've expanded on that. There's an even bigger natural environment, multiple natural environments around the headquarters that you can explore. There's a quarry outside the Mother Lobe, which is where they dug out these massive deposits of titanium. Titanium, this psychoreactive mineral that amplifies and changes psychic powers. There's lots of secrets around the quarry, lots of abandoned mines and caves and things to explore. And next door to the quarry is an abandoned roadside attraction called the Questionable Area, a sort of power vortex of strange happenings, which is also caused by the titanium deposits in the area. Water flows uphill, animals behave strangely. There's caves dedicated to the mystery of the Sasclops, which is a giant one-eyed being that might have existed and might not have. Here in the Questionable Area, Raz's family is camped out, his entire family.
Normalement, c'est mieux,
As
là.
if to embarrass him in front of his new Psychonauts friends. His
Arrêtez-moi si je me
family
trompe,
has showed
normalement,
up
c'est mieux.
and they want him back in the circus. It turns out some of his family members, including his own father, have a little bit of psychic power themselves, and they'll be exploring that in Psychonauts 2. And
Ça a l'air
you'll get to
sympa.
find out
Ouais, personnellement, c'est pas trop ma cam.
on Raz's family to die in
Psychonauts.
water. The Quados have
Je
been
peux comprendre qu'on
cursed
aime
by
bien,
mysterious
qu'on apprécie,
character
mais
to all die in
je sais pas,
water,
enfin personnellement,
and
c'est
this
pas.
manifests itself in the form of
C'est pas
the
trop
hand of
trop mon
Vivez,
truc, quoi.
which is this hand
pas
that
très
comes out
attiré
of
par la
water,
DA.
which is really just Raz's psychic construct. Raz is so afraid of water because of the curse put on his family that every time he comes near water, this creepy hand comes out and tries to grab him and pull him under, which is all happening inside of Raz's head. In Psychonauts 2, you'll get to find out who put this curse on Raz's family, where it came from, and what he can do about it. The story you uncover about the curse put on Raz's family links back into the story.
Sur les forums de Real, les développeurs ont répondu que le prochain Overwatch n'est rebooté que dans son gameplay, son histoire, les graphismes et la DA restent inchangés. Oui, c'est le fait, c'est l'idée qu'en gros il n'y ait pas de combat dans le jeu. De là à dire que c'est un reboot complet, c'est notre histoire.
Explore the connections between his family and the Psychonauts and what it all has to do with Maligula. Maligula is a.
C'est vrai que c'est long, vous avez raison. C'est long, mais c'est la formule qui veut ça. Hein. Et ça, j'ai envie de vous dire un truc. Fut une époque, pas si lointaine, Xbox aurait mis ça dans la vraie conférence qu'on a eu la semaine dernière. Et s'il y a eu un autre truc, c'est pas pour rien. Donc je suis content de l'avoir maintenant, plutôt que de l'avoir eu pendant la vraie conf. Merci. À bientôt. On a des nouvelles images aussi. Effectivement, tu as raison.
Hello? Nessa? Liu?
Bon alors ce jeu ne me dit rien qui vaille.
Lance! Get on! Thanks. No problem. Stick together and let's do this. Is this a disco?
This I do not like. I could use some help. Hit your pulse.
This is not good.
Ça m'a l'air...
We open the doors and run.
Ça m'a l'air plat. Enfin, plat.
Stopping, no shooting, just straight to the bridge.
J'aime pas du tout. Là. Enfin, j'ai pas l'impression que je m'amuserais quand je me taperais les barres. Quoi. C'est anacrusis, ouais. Pas du tout. Mais alors, pas du tout.
From Latin, Brutus.
We'd sound smart calling them brutes.
Eon, you don't want to get in here and help name these?
C'est pas ma cam.
I'm good.
Après, on peut aimer, hein, mais c'est pas ma cam. Même les personnages sont bizarres, wesh. Ah, pas moi en tout cas. Ah non. Vas-y, parle-moi du jeu. Ça va... Raconte-moi le truc là. Merci Ben Beats pour ton super chat Peter sujet. J'aimerais m'inviter pour m'intéresser sa mention première au c'est des vrais world premiers, c'est des vrais world premiers, hein, Ben Beats. C'est vraiment, quand c'est le cas, c'est le cas. Hein. Merci en tout cas pour ton super chat. Oui, c'est vrai qu'on dirait le logo d'Atari, effectivement.
We have those cool colors, cool shapes, fantastical sci-fi weapons and creatures. And then it also lends itself to, we wanted something that was positive about the players, the characters, you're working together. Sure, there's aliens. Sure, you're fighting them. Sure, you're trying to save Earth. But you're doing it in a positive, uplifting way. Yeah, I've just, after the pandemic, I don't think I could go back to a dreary post-apocalyptic world. I need something uplifting, and so we wanted to deliver that.
C'est pas faux.
That's awesome. Now, talk to me about the gameplay. You've said that there's an infinite replayability to this. So how does that factor in?
Yeah, so there's 4-player co-op, so you're playing with your friends, and what we want to do is make sure that it's different every time you're playing it. And so we have a lot of different systems that do that, but underneath it all is the idea of the AI driver. The AI driver is driving everything that's happening in the game with items, where they're placed, what's happening with the creatures.
Je vois l'idée, hein. Je vois l'idée, mais
all of those systems are driven off of that. And so what that means is, as you're playing, not only do you have those.
Ça m'inspire rien en fait. Enfin après, je suis pas la cible, hein.
And then you also have those peaks and valleys, so that you have some downtime, and then you have some really big uptime in it. Or, you know, a lot of combat happening in it. We're also monitoring.
Peut-être qu'il y a pas beaucoup de moyens aussi, hein.
So if you're first time playing and your team
Ça peut être ça aussi.
We'll put health kits right on the main path for you to find.
Une manette
And
Momo.
then if you don't find them at first, we'll spawn a couple more later. But if you're really good, if you're really killing it, well, we might not put anything on the main path. So if you want to go find your perks, or if you want to go find new weapons, you have to go off
mon dieu.
search for that. And it makes the game just a little bit harder, but in a way more interesting way.
Non mais c'est pas graphiquement qu'il est moche, machin, enfin, chaque jeu a sa patte, tu vois, ça... Puis non, le jeu il est pas moche, il est dans les standards actuels, un peu en deçà certes, mais... Ça va. Vous voulez trop des jeux avec des textures, c'est organique, machin, là. Non, pas forcément, ça dépend de la DA, mais le style du jeu... Même visuellement, ça me parle pas, quoi.
I love that it's scaling to your basically your skill level, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, that's fantastic.
Pourquoi pas?
Kind of deeper dive more into the perk system that you're going to have in the game.
So for the perks, we looked at a lot of games where you start with, let's say, a class-based thing, and then you know if you're playing with your same friends, well, I'm going to be support, you're going to be carry, someone else will be how. Like we kind of get into a run of what systems we're playing and how we're playing. So we want to be able to mix that up so that every time you're playing.
Jusque là, le jeu est normal.
Kind of choosing your role based on the perks you're getting. So perks come.
Par contre, il va falloir faire très attention à un point que je trouve important. Il faudra faire gaffe à ce qu'on n'ait pas, même si on est peut-être rentré dedans, une overdose de jeux avec des monstres, des zombies, des extraterrestres, machin. Et je sais que j'ai l'impression peut-être qu'on a dit ça à tout temps dans l'histoire du jeu vidéo, mais j'ai l'impression que dans le panel de jeux de cette année, il y a quand même beaucoup ça. Beaucoup ça. Et j'ai pas du tout hâte qu'on soit dans 3 ans peut-être, et qu'on ait une avalanche de jeux qui ont commencé quand il y avait le Covid, et qui parleront de virus. Et là, on va se faire chier. Mais peut-être que je m'enflamme un peu. Voilà. Mais j'ai l'impression qu'on est dans une période très shooter, dynamique, vampire, zombies, monstres. Et c'est pour ça qu'il y a des jeux qui sont intéressants, dans un sens, avec un gameplay qui est cool, machin, mais qui sont boudés par des joueurs parce que les gens se disent c'est encore un jeu de zombies, quoi. Et pour Falilou, alors pour les vampires, je suis désolé, Redfall, tant que j'aurais pas vu du gameplay, moi, franchement, ça ne m'attire pas. C'est pas un style de jeu. Tu vois, Starfield, des jeux dans l'espace, c'est assez récurrent dans le divertissement, mais il n'y a pas eu masse de jeux dans l'espace. Quand tu penses à ça, tu penses à Mass Effect, Elite Dangerous à la limite, Star Citizen, et encore Star Citizen, c'est de la vraie simu, quoi. Mais tu penses à Mass Effect, hein. Mass Effect, c'est le daron des jeux spatiaux qui sont divertissement, pas simu. Starfield, c'est pour ça que c'est un peu différent. Après, j'ai envie de vous dire, dans Last of Us, par exemple, on combat des zombies. Ça dépend du jeu, je pense. Ça dépend de l'histoire. Mais en tout cas, les jeux en vue FPS où tu dois buter des monstres, je pense que ça fait beaucoup. Ça fait beaucoup. Donc ouais. Alors le démuleur, j'aime pas, si, c'est très pro. J'ai le droit de dire, je n'aime pas. Je n'apprécie pas. Le professionnalisme, c'est pas ne pas avoir un avis. Hein.
Bonus question for you.
Oui.
What does the anacrusis actually mean?
Ça veut dire Atari. Ah sérieux? Ah, je savais pas du tout.
And for this, we have a character Boris.
Boris.
And the other players just talk about it because I thought it was fun to have this character that
une fois que tu as vu Last of Us, tu as dit c'est quoi ce Walking Dead Life? Oui, c'est vrai.
And she named the barge that you're on, that you're launching these missions, the Anacrusis. And her thought there was, this is not the main event. This is not us against the
à voir, mais
bof. Pilots and everything else. This is just regular people. This is the pre-battle to the battle. This is finding out about these aliens and what just happened.
Oh, that sounds so cool. Again, the Anacrusis, everything that you talked about today, it sounds amazing. I can't wait to get my hands on it. But Chet, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
We've got so much more coming.
Je sais pas s'il est très content.
Including Obsidian Entertainment with Grounded.
Ah, Grounded.
Illusions and Let It Roll with Shredders. And 343 Industries with a deeper dive on that incredible multiplayer
pas de solo.
for Halo Infinite. But first, the original Stalker was one of the most intense and eerie games of its era. Next year, we return to Chernobyl for Stalker 2. And Zach from GSC Game World has a closer look at the game. Let's check it out.
Hi everyone, it's Zach from GSC Game World. It has been several days since the gameplay review of Stalker 2. Our game now has a subtitle, Heart of Chernobyl, and a release date of April 28, 2022.
Franchement, ça va
By the way, the pre-orders are open for both PC
en
and
2022.
Xbox. You're obviously here willing to learn more, so here are several details about Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl you probably didn't know yet. So let's dive a little bit deeper in our trailer.
Cool, c'est archi beau.
This section of the trailer is a bandit's gunfight on the chemical plant. You can see the actual in-game animations of picking up the weapons and installing modifications on the go.
C'est archi beau.
The thing is, you can notice the teaser of a new faction. We are not showing the exact moment right now because we wonder if you can discover it yourself. You may actually recognize the exact location on the swamps. If you played Stalker Clear Sky, you may remember this place. The time did the job, but the tower is definitely still there. Also in this scene, you can see a brand new detector Skiff is using for the artifact hunt. Because of its form, it's called Gilka, which actually means a branch in the Ukrainian. The artifact Skiff is going to collect is called Jelly. In-game, it recovers your stamina. Moving to the Dancing Man scene. Before you ask it, yes, there will be a lot of characters with an interesting fate.
Ouais, moi j'arrive à comprendre pourquoi il danse.
His hideout is located in Chernobyl too. That's a town not so far from Pripyat you have seen in the gameplay teaser.
Ouais. C'est beau. Hein. C'est de la bombe, hein. Franchement.
Это культура. А ты одно и то же по кругу лобаешь. Сам же просто.
The campfires. A small isle of safety in the unwelcoming zone. A place where you can finally have a little rest before another foray. You have seen the campfire during the first trailer in the Rookie Village. Of course, it wasn't the only one. The zone is full of dangers and mutants. The monsters are the result of the numerous experiments. We're not ready to show you all of them, so let's stick to the old good bloodsucker for now.
Ah, nom de Dieu!
Считаешь, я не думал, как обойтись без его смерти?
J'ai la goutte, Sainte Marie, Mère du
Я
Seigneur.
могла быть
Ouf,
свободна, пока
chaud.
он жил. Зато теперь посмотри на нее.
Non, c'est cool, c'est cool.
Нет, Скиф, я не отдам ее никому. Зона дала мне жизнь, новую жизнь. Жизнь, которую я готов вернуть, если потребуется.
Et les visages, ça va, j'ai envie de dire, hein, franchement.
Всегда.
In this rooftop scene, we are truly proud with the quality of the animations. We made a small behind-the-scenes video from our motion capture studio. The face photogrammetry process makes the final result as close to the reality as possible.
Она не могла быть свободна, пока он жил. Я буду защищать ее. Всегда.
Franchement, ça fait le taf.
The Gauss gun you're seeing in this section is one of
Ça
the
fait
most
très bien le
powerful
taf, même.
weapons from the arsenal.
Ça, par contre, c'est trop, ça.
Охренеть.
Похоже, пора.
И куда ты теперь?
В Припять.
Moving to the final thing for today, the man at the end of the trailer is Sergei Grigorovich, the creator of the Stalker series.
Удачной охоты, сталкер.
Stylé.
Thanks for joining us today. We can't wait for the moment when the time comes to enter the zone on April 28,
Entre dans la zone.
2022.
Sympa.
As you just saw, Stalker 2 is shaping up to be something special, and I can't wait to play it next year when it comes to Xbox, PC, and Game Pass on day one. On Sunday, we saw the trailer for A
Oui.
Plague Tale Requiem,
Oui.
the sequel to the award-winning A Plague Tale.
Et a raison. Et a raison.
Those of you who are fans of the original, we've got some good news for you too.
Ah, il est en promo?
Amicia, I want to see mommy.
Where is he?
C'est quoi la news? Je vois pas trop ce qu'ils peuvent rajouter là. Oh oui! Oui! Oh attendez, faut que je le tweet. Ah oui! Ah oui, 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 oui. Ouais, je dis oui. Je dis oui! 4K réseau. Oh là là. Moi je dis oui.
Where is your son?
Je suis archi chaud.
You have come to challenge me.
A Plague Tale Innocence. L'un des meilleurs jeux du monde. Le 6 juillet en 4K. Ah, c'est trop bien optimisé sur Series. Ah, je suis content, sa mère. Je suis archi content. Je suis archi content. J'adore A Plague Tale. Je vais le tweeter. Bon, là, c'est Age of Empires 4. Alors, t'es pas obligé de te le refaire, don't know.
The King is back.
Ah.
And here to tell us more about Age of Empires 4 are Adam Icegreen and Emma Bridle from World's Edge. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us on, Paris.
Oh, absolutely. my legacy Age player. I'm excited for this. Now, you had some news at the briefing. Can you kind of talk about that a little more?
Well, I mean, fans got to have their first looks at two more of our launch civilizations, the Abbasid Dynasty and the French.
Yes.
And they bring a lot to the table. Totally different ways to play.
J'arrive pas à trouver
but,
l'image qu'il
really
faut.
excited to show them those. And then also, people got to see their first taste of naval gameplay, which we haven't shown off at all, except for a little teaser at the end of fan preview.
Paying off that tease, and we
c'est
also
dommage.
revealed one more of our campaigns, the 100 Years
tweeterai
War,
après.
and Joan of Arc made an appearance.
Ah bah voilà, c'est bon.
We also announced that the game is coming October 28th, and it's coming to Windows Store, Steam, and of course Game Pass for PC.
Now, earlier you mentioned the two civilizations, the Abbasid Dynasty and the French. Can you kind of go into detail about that?
Sure.
Yeah, I guess I'll start. The Abbasid. So the Abbasid dynasty is this amazing technological powerhouse of a civilization that has a really unique mechanic that we're bringing to them in Age of Empires 4. It's actually unique across all the civs that are in the game, in that they construct this bastion of knowledge called the House of Wisdom, and they can keep upgrading it with different wings, and that gives them a host of incredible technologies that leverage their army, their economy, their resources. But beyond even that, they have an incredible amount of fun units, especially camels, unique to the civs again.
C'est bon,
The launch civs
je
for
suis
Age
bon.
of Empires 4 is camel units, and these camels have amazing abilities to buff the
Bon,
other
pour Age of
units in the
Empires, est-ce qu'il y a des gens dans le
army.
chat
So
qui
you
sont
have
plutôt
these
chauds?
diverse mixes where you always want to be
Pour ma
throwing different
part,
units together, but always including camels for the different kinds of buffs
c'est
and
pas trop mon
advantages
style.
you can
Mais
get,
je comprends.
to your civilization.
Je
It's great.
comprends. Je m'attendais à pire pour la conf. Oui, moi aussi. Je m'attendais à un Discord ou un Zoom. Il y a une belle mise en scène et tout. Enfin, c'est sur le même plateau en plus que le Xbox Game Showcase, Bethesda Game Showcase. Pour moi, ça va. Chaud de ouf, non. Moi, nope. Je suis ici sur PC. Oui, c'est pas si mal en vrai. Vive Age of Empires, c'est un grand oui. Toute mon enfance, PC, carrément, je suis un grand fan. Ouais. Bah, je vais fermer ma bouche et je vais vous laisser écouter.
A battle, and she was a teenager, and so she's beloved. She's in Age 2 in a campaign, and so we know Age fans are going to love seeing her again. And the 100 Years' War, with the multiple missions, like the Battle of the 30, are really going to bring that period of history to life. And all the live action footage that you saw in the trailer on Sunday, that's all from within the game. We have these multiple documentaries that will play between the missions to storytell and really bring it to life as you journey through the 100 Years' War.
Yeah, taking a completely different approach to how we're telling a story. Matter of fact, I don't think I've seen any game that does what we're doing in terms of how we're showing the story and how we're getting people involved.
Assassin's Creed,
Really brings it to life.
Aucun rapport.
And I've learned things
Aucun
about
lien.
history from these documentaries I didn't learn in school.
Ah, par contre, c'est vrai que c'est une dimension historique qui est hyper intéressante.
Now, community feedback is always important in any game, but especially in something like Age. Now, how have you taken some of that feedback into development for Age 4?
So we formed a community council back in 2017. We wanted our community and our players to have a seat at the table for development. We're making the game for them. So they've been hands-on with the game for a really long time and giving us their honest
Il sort sur
feedback.
Xbox.
And we then take
Il y a déjà une version,
and they look at making
console, je
changes
crois.
based on what they've told us. So they've influenced things
La
from
base.
the look of the UI icons.
La Definitive Edition ont fait les Age of Empires. Zut, j'ai raté ton commentaire, excuse-moi. Non, mais je pense pas que c'est nul, au contraire. J'en ai fait aucun. Je ne dévoilerai pas le truc parce que je pense que c'est vraiment un pilier dans le jeu de stratégie, etc. Et non, au contraire, enfin, j'ai plein de potes qui jouent et qui adorent, sauf que moi c'est pas trop ma cam, mais je reconnais tout le talent des devs et le succès du jeu, enfin des jeux. Donc franchement, quand je vois des gens hypés, bah, je me dis trop bien. Du coup. Mais enfin peut-être que je m'y mette, mais je sais pas, faut que je vois. À l'occasion, je pense.
It was great. It was a great reaffirmation, and we throw a lot of things like that at our council.
Vas-y,
to
Momo,
make sure that
cyclé.
we're making the
Les
game
potes.
that's great for all the different
Ils
kinds
se
of players
reconnaîtront,
of
mais
Age of Empires all over the world.
And now we're heading towards launch.
Yeah.
We're branching out beyond our council. People are going to get hands-on for the first
plus besoin
time.
d'aller en
We
cours
had a
d'histoire, les jeunes.
fantastic
Achetez
event back in April, and we looked at the feedback
Cette remarque se
from
faisait en
that,
2012 pour
making
Assassin's Creed
changes
aussi.
then. So,
Et c'est
you
aussi une
know,
vieille
let us
licence,
know that
c'est
you
clair
didn't
que
feel like the weapon scaling was
des
quite right,
années
so we've gone
que c'est
ahead
dans
and
le
we've
game.
improved that.
Donc forcément, il y a
Fantastic.
sa
Now,
communauté.
you actually hit on something that I want to jump into because
Et j'imagine que c'est méga
Age has been
addictif,
around
ouais.
for a while.
Que c'est
There's
accro.
been previous games, but you continue to
Xbox
make
Vidéo
content for
Magazine,
those. So,
renommer la
what's some
chaîne,
of the
très
new
intéressant,
features
fait
as far as
sale.
development with some of the legacy Age games?
Quand il y a,
We have a new expansion coming in
je dirais 9
for
mois,
Age
on nous
2
avait dit
Definitive Edition called
PlayStation
Envie.
Vidéo
And
Magazine,
in that
renommer la
expansion,
chaîne.
we're going to be adding 2 more
Toujours des gens
civilizations,
qui seront
the
pas contents.
Bohemians and the Poles, and 3 new campaigns for the Lithuanians, the Bohemians, and the Poles. And
Donc
those
il
are
rajoute de
great-
nouvelles civilisations,
great
etc.
stories
Franchement,
about,
non, c'est cool en vrai. hein.
really cool, like, brother and sister teams that work together to kind of rise up these empires, and I can't wait for people to get their hands on it. And the great
Quand
thing
est-ce qu'il
is,
sort
if you
Age of
pre-order
Empires 4 du coup, je me souviens.
you get that for free. That's part of the deal for pre-ordering Age 4 on the different platforms.
J'ai pensé comme toi avant de jouer au 4.
And,
Ah mais donc en fait le 4, enfin, en fait tu joues à n'importe lequel et c'est parti.
on an African PDLC with new civilizations and campaigns, and I can't wait to show more. But we're not ready to talk about that one.
On n'est pas prêt.
But if you don't want to miss out,
Cet
go
été
to Age of
Ah oui,
Empires,
c'est rapide.
come
Ah oui.
inside it, you get little sneak peeks at things we've got coming and chances to
C'est
get
E3
hands-on
Magazine.
content early.
Yeah. Now, shifting us back to the
C'est même
present
YouTube
Age
Vidéo
4.
Magazine.
what's some of the things people can expect as we lead
Ah
up to
oui,
launch?
à quoi vous devez vous attendre?
Well, we've got a bit of an exclusive for you today. So we're going to name our remaining launch civs and our remaining launch campaigns. We're not going to show them just yet. That'll come closer to launch. But our 2 remaining civilizations are the Holy Roman Empire and the Rus. And the names of our 2 remaining campaigns are the Rise of Moscow and the Mongol Empire.
All that sounds.
Vous en pensez quoi dans le chat?
I was just going to say, I'm so excited. I get all gushing about things like this. You're going to have to wait a little more to get information and see more detail on those civilizations and campaigns, but we're also
Je vais montrer mon genou,
a
je peux
ton of stuff
m'excuser.
planned. We have a beta that's going to be coming up, so you can go to ageofempires.com to sign
En espérant voir
up
du
for
gameplay du
be
nouveau
an
Plague Tale.
insider,
Oui, on a
get
hâte
our
aussi.
beta and get a chance to
Momo
actually
vidéo
get
magazine.
hands-on with the game. And then, of
Mongol
course,
Empire
again,
définitivement.
we're launching
Ça a l'air de vous hype, hein.
October 28th.
Bon après,
Yep.
la montée de Moscou ça va être Lénine ça. J'ai l'impression.
On Steam, on Windows 10 and on Game Pass for
Avant qu'on
PC.
parle
So it should be
d'un autre
great
personnage,
any way
d'un
you
tsar
wanna
un peu
play.
obscur.
We're just really excited.
That is great.
Ça m'a l'air
and
d'être
I'm sure
Lénine.
Age fans all around the world are really looking forward to that. So, again, Adam, Emma, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us on.
No, thank you. Massive battles across land, air, and sea have been a hallmark of the Battlefield series from the beginning. In this next video, design director
Mais
Daniel
non!
Berlin will tell us more about
Mais c'est vrai parce qu'en plus ils avaient dit qu'il y aurait des devs partenaires et DICE c'est partenaire de Xbox.
powerful console.
Ah bah ok. C'est stylé. C'est nerveux. C'est ce qu'on aime. C'est Battlefield 2042.
The thing that would really excite players is the introduction of all this cutting-edge technology.
Ah mais les gars, on sait que votre jeu il a une ambition de fou. Hein.
Into the sandbox. I think just having the comeback of the helicopter on the battlefield, it just introduces a whole new layer to the sandbox. It just gives players so much more tools that makes it more.
Je crois que c'est le premier Battlefield que j'ai envie de faire. Je vous jure. Je trouve que c'est vraiment proche de Xbox. Oui. Mais après c'est les tiers, il y a des deals commerciaux. Par contre il y a moyen que Ubisoft avec Far Cry 6 du coup. Enfin Ubisoft est on dirait pas mais Ubisoft est très proche d'Xbox. Le jeu qui me laisse de marbre. Ah c'est possible ça. Mais franchement, il a l'air sympa.
The one we're talking about right now, we're talking about today, is the experience that we call the
all-out
warfare experience. Now, this is the place you go in 2042 when you want to have those classic battlefield experiences. This massive war, where it's, air, land.
Oh, le bordel que ça va être sur Next Gen avec 164.
But we've actually made a distinction
124.
between 2 separate experiences
Pas 160.
within the all-out warfare. Experience, and that's Conquest, which is a
124, hein, c'est le double. Hein.
staple for our franchise. It's something that our fans know and love, and we're just taking the
164 joueurs, ça me paraît immense.
this time around. Conquest is all about.
Enfin, c'est dingue, je fais des vidéos sur des jeux, je vous dis les infos, mais je les oublie après quoi. C'est pas pro. 128, 128, j'étais pas loin. Enfin, j'étais pas loin pour la seconde tentative, parce que pour la première. Bref.
Complete chaos.
L'archuma.
They just converge on a single point, and the chaos goes up to the maximum. But there's also moments within Conquest where, you just had that big battle, and now you've won that battle, and you go like, okay, you bring up
ouais,
the
double de
map, and you
64
have a
quoi.
conversation with your friends.
Parce que oui, bah 6 x 4,
okay,
ça fait 12. Ça fait 1, 2, 4 plus 4, ça fait 8, du coup tu rajoutes. Bah 8, du coup ça fait 128. Ok.
Conquest is just that full freedom to the sandbox. And right next to that lives the other experience within All Out Warfare, which is Breakthrough. And this is a significantly more.
Cette émission est un bon complément à la conf Xbox de l'E3. Ils prennent le temps de... C'est ça. C'est exactement ce que je disais, t'as tout à fait raison Cyril. Ils auraient... Avant, à une époque, je vous jure qu'ils l'auraient mis dans une vraie conférence E3. Alors ça aurait été très beau, hein. Mais c'est pas le rythme qu'on veut. Et c'est pour ça qu'ils ont divisé en deux en fait. Ça va être un sacré bazar.
And it's just complete chaos in Breakthrough. So All Out Warfare kind of takes these 2 fan-favorite staple modes, and we make them distinctly lean into their specific strength. And that's on the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, you will actually be able to play all our Warfare experiences.
Sur PS5 aussi, hein, mais bon, il y a un deal commercial, quoi.
Which is a double to what we've done in the past in the franchise. And this is really, you know, you can have those moments when you're playing 2042, when you're sitting in the helicopter and you look down and you just see this, you know, sea of tanks, soldiers, infantry, helicopters, fighter jets just moving in unison, and you kind of get this feeling that you're part of something bigger,
grave, hein?
like a really, really massive army, and that's the strength of the massive play spaces that we're building. And we're able to really make this play really well. We've altered our way of handling level design. Because it wasn't just as simple as, you know, just making it bigger and then portion the locations out. It doesn't really work that way. So we've leaned into a new type of design mentality that we're calling clustering. Now, what clustering means that you will have a massive battlefield in front of you. But within this massive battlefield, you will have particular clusters of objectives. So the map Hourglass is set in Doha, Qatar, and it is I'm not going to go into any specifics about exactly how large it is, but it is definitely one of the larger maps that we will have in 2042. It's one of my favorite maps personally because it has some really, really cool, distinct locations within it.
En fait, tu peux aller partout, quoi.
Of the map, you'll have a
ah oui, on peut complètement détruire un village.
Village. This is a great space for infantry and vehicles alike.
Ça va être stylé.
As a battlefield player, that infantry is
J'aime ma
scoping around
femme,
inside
fallait
the
que je le
buildings,
dise, bonne
but you know,
soirée.
when you're in your tank or your attack helicopter, you can just
C'est mignon.
destroy those buildings and get access to the infantry. And you can go
Bonne soirée à vous
further
deux.
east and you'll find a bunch of high-rise
Ah oui,
skyscrapers.
gratte-ciel. T'imagines, t'es là, tu te balades et tout, c'est la merde et tout, il y a des ennemis partout, il y a un immeuble qui se prend en hélicoptère en pleine tronche et t'as une tornade slash tempête de sable qui débarque. 128 joueurs sur une carte, 64 contre 64. Et puis tu sautes et là, bam, wingsuit. Et là tu voles à travers toute la map et tout. Oh. Ça là, ça c'est archi beau. C'est de la vraie guerre quoi. Bah, vraiment.
So the mentality here of building larger maps but creating locations within that map where there's a particular type of gameplay. And with the Conquest game mode, for example, you will also see
même là en fait c'est intéressant.
You want to capture the entirety of the stadium. It's not just to go there and capture one location. You actually have to capture multiple locations within the stadium in order for you to kind of.
C'est marrant parce que Battlefield c'est aussi long que Psychonauts mais ça me dérange.
So lots of dynamic moments on Hourglass, and if you saw in the gameplay trailer as well, there's a massive wall of sand moving across the entire gameplay.
C'est quoi?
So what happens when this massive wall comes? Of course, it engulfs you in the storm
c'est la dinguerie.
itself. But as it passes by, it
j'en perds mes
leaves
cheveux, la
the
vérité.
entirety of the map in a different mood, in a different light, and it changes the visibility for the player. And this is a really good time for you to lean into our plus system, where you have the capability to actually alter the customization on your weapon.
On n'est pas sur Call of, c'est un jeu de guerre. Personnellement, moi je fais pas la guerre Call of Battlefield. Mais franchement il m'attire de ouf le jeu hein. Et pourtant j'aime pas ce genre de truc hein. Mais moi je vois ça. Allez on se remet à la fin du trailer.
And the tornado is this massive disruptor.
Non mais alors ça, ça prend tout. C'est-à-dire que t'es là, t'es en parachute pépouze, t'es en hélicoptère, tu te fais exploser ta tronche. C'est trop bien, c'est trop bien. Ah moi je vais pas rigoler hein. Moi je vais rigoler hein. Je dirais il y a la zone, elle se rapproche, il y a la zone.
And these moments are in the hands of the player. While in other games the battlefield moments are pre-scripted, in our game they just happen, and they happen differently every single time.
C'est Zelda avec des flingues.
It's players controlling what's happening around you. That's something that you only get in Battlefield, and that's why I love Battlefield so much.
Il a l'air prometteur ton jeu frère. J'adore.
Epic action at an epic scale is what we all want from Battlefield 2042, and DICE looks poised to deliver. During the showcase on Sunday, we announced an exciting collaboration between Rare, Xbox, and Disney. With Sea of Thieves, A Pirate's Life, a free update which brings Captain Jack Sparrow and his crew sailing into the Sea of Thieves. Today, we're premiering a brand new trailer showing some of the gameplay you'll experience when you team up with Jack Sparrow
Ça, c'est une très belle collab. Hein. C'est une très belle collab. Oui, Ninja Theory est déjà passé, MD. Notre équipage a été rejoint.
To the Sea of
Bravo.
Thieves. Quick as you like. Chop, chop.
It's time to bridge the worlds and take our rightful places as lords of the sea.
Now we have awoken, and we are hungry.
Perhaps they'll take me on the
En fait, visiblement, il y a des nouvelles terres et tout.
I was starting to think you'd taken a tumble.
La question que je me pose, c'est ce qu'il va y avoir. Nouveau maquillage.
This is the first place I've found where everyone
Putain, il y a le Black Pearl, quoi.
my uniqueness. They're coming aboard. Keep your crusty claws off me.
C'est quoi ces trucs?
Davy Jones wishes you destroyed, and I shall oblige him.
What is that?
Il y a une ville.
And a noise. That's Captain Infernal Noise to you, mate. Sparrow. Destroy that statue, and there'll be the double to pay.
Enough of this. Hear me, my daughter. Come more than me.
Ok, c'est vénère.
Whatever they've told you, it's not true. Unless it's flattering, in which case, it's all
Ah,
true.
micro grésille,
They
pardon.
left out the best bits. Savvy?
Hey everyone, Joni, executive producer on Sea of Thieves here. So we've shown you the cinematic trailer, we've shown the gameplay trailer, but there's still more to come. So on Sunday at 11 AM Pacific, 2 PM Eastern, 7 PM UK and 8 PM in Europe, we have the Sea of Thieves, A Pirate's Life.
Une présentation.
So this is a real deep dive just into all of the details behind.
Mais c'est une super collab, c'est une super collab,
How do we
franchement.
bring Jack Sparrow into our world? How do we capture his humor and his charm and all of the kind of characters that are coming in as a part of
Il y a
this?
Gibbs,
We're gonna
Davy
get a
Jones,
first look
par
at a couple
contre.
of tales and
Il
actual
me semble pas
gameplay
avoir
of
vu
those.
William
We're gonna get some behind-the-scenes
Turner.
interviews with our development team and also just to chat with us, with Disney, just about how this collaboration came to be. So it's going to be amazing. I hope everybody tunes in. So we'll see you on Sunday.
Sympa. Ah. Ça fait du bien. Ça repose. J'ai jamais autant pleuré devant un simulateur, putain les gars. J'ai envie de pleurer. C'est tellement beau, ça meurt. Ah, c'est beau, mon dieu. Ah. Ce jeu, c'est une dinguerie. Hein. 27 juillet, Game Pass. Voilà. Sur Series X, Series S, et ce sera disponible en cloud. Évidemment. Là, c'est Top Gun, bien sûr. Ouais, Fable 4, pas de nouvelles, mais peut-être que... Non, Playground, ils sont déjà passés. Bon, là, c'est cet automne.
I'm ready for the danger zone.
Non, mais c'est WAM.
We'll get to that in just a second. When Microsoft Flight Simulator launched last year on PC, reviewers and gamers alike were blown away by the stunning visuals and the depth of simulation. Joining us is Jörg Neumann, the head of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Jörg, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it.
Great to meet you. Those are cool glasses. You get your jacket.
Yeah, I got my jacket as well. So you had some announcements this Sunday about Microsoft Flight Simulator. Can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah, it was super cool. We announced that Microsoft Flight Simulator is coming to Xbox Series X and S. And the franchise has an awesome history on the PC. It's going back all the way to 1982. You know, it predates Office and Windows. And when we launched last year, it was on the PC only. And it was a really warm welcome from simmers and from press and from people who have never flown Flight Sim before. So we're super excited that it comes to console now. And so for the first time in the history of the franchise.
So I've been playing Flight Simulator since last year on PC. I have a 3080, but it is now coming to the Xbox Series X and S. What sorcery are you doing to get this running on both of those consoles? I have to know.
I think it's a combination of two things.
Pourtant, ils ont dit que c'était pas si compliqué que
First
ça.
off, it's a super powerful console.
Yes.
And then we are really using the Microsoft tech stack in an interesting way. So as you know, Series X and S is like a beast. The GPU is awesome, super powerful CPU with multiple cores, RAM, fast RAM. We can run in 4K.
Après la
That's super
série S, je suis
important
moins
for
sûr.
planes. Because you sit there in the cockpit, you need to be able to read all the text. SSD, fast internet. So it's basically the equivalent of a really powerful high-end PC. And on top of that, on Flight Sim, we're using the Microsoft stack a lot. Like we have 2.5 terabytes of data. It's 1.6 million CDs sitting on Azure. And we're basically streaming that down as you go. And we also do machine learning algorithms.
Pour moi, le jeu en brut sur Series S, ça va pas être fou.
In runtime,
sur Series X, ça va être une
billion
dinguerie.
houses and 2 trillion trees. So it's a combination of those two things. Super powerful console, super good use of the Microsoft tech stack. You get it to work on
Et aussi, vous avez du talent, les gars, faut le dire aussi.
Now, with Xbox Game Pass and with it coming to console, you're going to expose Flight Simulator to a lot of new gamers, right? So, what are some of the things that you're going to do to make it more accessible to a wider audience?
So we had, you're exactly right. We had a little bit of that
Ça,
last
vous en avez parlé
year
dans un
when we
journal,
launched,
je sais pas si vous
because
vous
we
souvenez.
knew the flight simmers, that's their hobby. They came in, they know everything about aviation, they know exactly what to do. But we had a lot of people come in through Xbox Game Pass on PC and basically tried for the first time. So we, even on the PC launch, we did a bunch of work on onboarding with tutorials. We gave some assistances, but now for this Xbox version, we're actually doing a ton more. And I actually brought you a little video. And so there's 5 things we did. The first thing, if you're becoming a pilot, the first thing you do is you do a discovery flight. It's basically, you know, you have a flight instructor next to you. He does most of the work, he or she. And you get to steer the plane and feel really good about yourself, right? And so we said, we need to recreate that. So we picked two.
Enfin, il y a un vrai instructeur à côté de toi, parce que sur PC, il n'y a pas un vrai instructeur à côté de toi. Mais disons qu'il y a une voix qui te dit. Voilà.
Rio de Janeiro, or New York, or the pyramids. And we basically put you in a plane, it's ready to go, it's beautiful weather, and all you need to do is fly and have fun. And it really is an onboarding experience, is super good. And then we noticed on the PC side that people really love to explore the world in Flight Sim. I did that. I've spent like a month in South America, and I've never been to South America, and it was super cool. But it was only visuals, and you know, so you didn't quite understand how
maintenant, vous allez pouvoir descendre de l'avion.
We added labels, and
oh, ça c'est cool.
Labels basically for every POI, like famous place or river or mountain. So we have all those now, and we put that into the world map. And even if you go down and you try to plan out your flight, you can now see all the cities around you, and it's totally transforms the experience. Same in game. So we now have labels in game where you see, you know, here's Everett, over there's, you know, whatever, and you learn about the planet more, and it's a much more enriching experience.
Ça enrichit l'expérience.
Just experiencing the planet.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. The next thing we did is we revamped the tutorials. We wanted to basically smoothen out the onboarding experience. We wanted to retain knowledge more. So we had 8 tutorials on the PC. Now we have 22. Oh, wow. And
ils ont fait 22 tutoriels.
And we have a performance indicator system. So basically it rates you and how you did, and you get a score.
Ah, les joueurs console, ils vont vraiment être pris par la main, quoi. Vraiment, c'est le truc.
More and more how you really fly. So it's been super successful, and I think it's going to help newcomers a lot. The next feature that we have is, it's called Flight Assistant, which I use a lot. It's basically, so imagine you fly over New York and you see
Il y a des gens dans le chat qui comprennent pas. Je vous explique, hein. C'est en temps réel la météo. Ils ont modélisé, enfin pas à la main évidemment à chaque fois, mais la Terre entière, la planète entière sur la carte. Ça c'est cool de profiter de la vue aussi. Ouais. Je me suis pas mal craché avec des aéroports. Ouais. Dédicace également à l'aéroport de... C'était à Marseille. Il a vu un gros Boeing lui foncer dessus, hein. C'était moi. Salut.
Everybody's good taking off, but some people are hesitant
to land. Oui, ça m'insulte beaucoup, oui.
Air traffic controller and all that, super technical. So we added a new feature called Land Anywhere.
Atterrissage automatique.
Just let them land anywhere. And then when you do that, the first thing you see is 71% of the planet is water.
Yes.
So we added basically floats to a bunch of our planes, and you can land everywhere now on the ocean or in rivers or wherever.
C'est trop bien.
Same with snow. So we have skis on our planes now, and so you can go to the polar regions, mountaintops, or when it's winter, because we have winter when it's snowing, you can now land anywhere. So I think those 5 things in combination will really make it easier for people who have never been in a flight sim, because it's, you know, we made a decision not to dumb down the flight sim. It's not easier. It's not gamified.
Right.
Like we gave you assistances
bien.
to help you learn how to actually fly a plane. And I think we're going to achieve that.
So one thing on PC is there's a ton of flight accessories that you can use as far as various peripherals and controls. What are you going to be able to bring to the console that can somewhat replicate that experience?
Totally, yeah. So a good news story. So there's 2 really good flight sticks already on the console. It's the Thrustmaster T-Flight HOTAS 1, if you have that. And then there's also the HOTI HOTAS flight stick.
Yep.
And so we fully support those 2. And then we worked with all the main top-notch peripheral makers, both on PC and Xbox. And all I can say is there are going to be some really good announcements coming up.
Yeah.
And for Core Sim, I can say you can now play. We have the software to have a full Core Sim experience, and we'll have the hardware on Xbox. All for the first time on a console. It's going to be great.
Oh, that's going to be great. Now, we obviously had the funny start with the Top Gun Maverick expansion pack. You announced that, but can you go into a little more detail about that?
Yeah, I mean,
you can expect.
We couldn't be more excited, right? Like, I mean, it's really like a dream come true. If you think about entertainment and the franchises that celebrate aviation, you will actually come to Microsoft Flight Simulator and Top Gun, and it's a perfect marriage. So I can't say that much about it because the movie obviously is, you know, keeps everything under wraps. But if you watch the trailer carefully, you saw there's some F-18s.
C'est stylé.
And there's an aircraft carrier.
Super conférence en fait. Bah même celle-là elle est bien
and
quoi.
And I can say is we're going to go fast, like really fast.
C'est pas encore fini,
we're going to be in
allô.
the danger zone.
That is going to be great. Really looking forward to that. Now, as we wrap this up, there's not much else you can say about the Maverick expansion pack, but what else can people expect from Flight Simulator in the near future?
A lot. So ever since launch, we said we're going to launch and have a new update, like a big, meaningful update every single month. And we launched 9 months ago, and we had 9 updates. So we have something that's called World Updates, where we just pick a zone on Earth, like the United States or Japan or like England and Ireland, and we make that really better. Like we get the the best possible satellite imagery. We create an elevation map that basically makes the mountains look better. We create 3D cities. Like after launch, we launched London and Paris, and we also make missions. So we celebrate the planet, like with these updates. And we're just going to go around the planet. We're shipping 2 more this year and 6 more next year. And then
c'est un zobo là. Vous êtes pas 8 milliards hein, quand vous allez faire là. C'est ouf. Pour Flight Simulator, ils font des mises à jour tous les mois. Ils ont fait la version console. Ils ont travaillé sur un Plectail. L'optimisation next-gen de Plectail Innocence. Les gars, vous dormez quand?
Just like with Maverick, which I don't think people really saw coming, there will be more of that. And I think all I can say is it'll get the gamers and the simmers both their hearts pounding. So keep watching the skies.
That is awesome. Now, again,
partenariat Star Wars.
More people are going to get to play.
Partenariat Star Wars.
I've been playing it on PC. I love it. I highly recommend everyone do the flight from LA to Paris. It's really good, very cathartic. But as we get out of here, I want to thank you so much for taking some time to talk about Flight Simulator. Can't wait for that expansion pack.
Thank you so much. It was awesome.
Thank you. Still to come, we have Grounded, Shredders, and of course, Halo Infinite. But first, one of the best PC games of 2020 was Hades, and it's got a ton of awards to prove it. Here's a closer look at what we can expect from Supergiant Games later this year on Xbox Series X and S.
Ok. Bon alors Hades, Hades qu'on ne présente plus, hein. Qu'on ne présente plus. Très bon jeu. J'ai pas eu le temps de le faire, mais très bon jeu.
You don't need any prior interest in Greek myth to get into Hades, but as you play, maybe you'll get to wondering how much of this stuff comes from mythology. The answer is a whole lot. Greek myth is filled with wild, fascinating, often contradictory stories of these larger-than-life characters. The Olympians are a big, complicated family, always bickering and always pushing each other, and their portrayals in classical mythology inspired our portrayals in Hades. Let's start with Hades himself.
What is it now? Of a mountain of infernal parchment work.
He's often relegated to the role of villain in many modern adaptations of Greek myth,
oui.
But in classical mythology, he's a complicated
mais il est Hades dans la vraie mythologie, il a pas une vie simple. Hein.
As the god of the dead, Hades has an imposing reputation to live up to, so he even has a monstrous pet in the three-headed hound of hell, Cerberus. The idea that this savage beast was still somebody's pet dog crystallized how we wanted to portray the gods in Hades, that despite being immortal and all-powerful, they're not so different from the rest of us. Though, let's not forget Zagreus. We've heard from many players who figured Zagreus was a god of our own creation. After all, who's ever heard of Hades having
mais c'est sûr qu'Hades il a eu des gosses.
But according to some ancient sources,
alors je sais pas si c'est avec Perséphone, mais
My ransacking was a delight, thank you for asking. So I'll just be on my way again.
In classical mythology, Zagreus is a little-known chthonic god, meaning a god of the underworld, sometimes associated with Dionysus, the god of wine.
Quel rapport avec Dionysos?
He is associated with Hades.
Hein?
How could Hades have a son nobody knows about? How does he fit into the myths we do know?
Mais Hades, il a déjà eu.
We were so drawn to answering these questions that they form the basis for the entire story of this game. If you're the prince of the underworld, who do you get as your personal trainer? That would be Achilles, a near invincible warrior in his day, once called the greatest of the Greeks.
Par contre, je veux pas de guerre de console dans le chat. Punaise. Arrêtez. Les premiers commentaires extrêmement désobligeants, je les banne. Vous pouvez pas regarder une conf sans dénigrer une machine, quoi, ou une autre. C'est incroyable, ça. Vous arrêtez. Ça suffit. Oh. Soyons adultes, calmes et responsables, enfin. Mégara, femme d'Héraclès. Bon, alors elle, c'est un peu une bolosse.
She is one of the three Fury sisters tasked with torturing
some of the
absolute worst souls for all eternity. And in our game, she's also tasked with making
peut-être que je me refasse un cours de mythologie, quoi.
These two have a lot of history, and since the story of Hades keeps moving forward each time you play, the more you run into Megara, the better you'll get to know her. There's also Thanatos.
Thanatos, c'est autre chose. Megara, c'est pas la femme d'Hercule?
Thought you could just get away from me, did you?
He is the personification of death, according to Greek myth, though represents more of a peaceful death than, say, the kind that happened a lot during something like the Trojan War. So even though he can seem a little sinister at first, in the spirit of the mythology, we wanted our Thanatos to have a gentler side. Thanatos has a couple of brothers in Hades, such as Hypnos here, the personification of sleep.
Ça va.
Paul says here one of the wretched thugs got you. Too bad.
When he's not dozing on the job, Hypnos can comment on every single possible way you can die in this game, of the dozens and dozens of different possibilities. Where did all these gods of the underworld come from anyway? According to the Theogony, an ancient Greek creation myth by Hesiod that introduces all the gods and their ancestors.
Je suis extrêmement d'accord avec Eric. Neo433 dit, je tiens à préciser les amis que c'est 12 teraflops. Hein. Tu vas faire mieux là ta bouche là. Hein. Je dis plus rien. Hein. C'est autant puissant que les Series X. Mon X, je connais. Bon, il y a beaucoup de divinités. On va dire que Ratchet est un jeu pour enfants. On a le droit de dire je trouve que ça, mais venir gratuitement dénigrer des joueurs d'une plateforme, que ce soit Xbox ou PlayStation inversement, ou Switch ou PC, Arrêtez.
We found them incredibly inspiring and
On a tous autre chose à faire dans la vie,
meet
quoi.
everybody when Hades comes to Xbox One and Series X on August 13th.
C'est quand même incroyable ça. Ok. Ah, c'est un mashup. Play the latest ID at Xbox. Day one with Xbox Game Pass. Le petit tunnel en mode de pause. Excusez-moi, je vais vous commenter parce que je sais pas. Oui, tu as montré que le prix moyen des joueurs PlayStation 20. Tu vois, Binla? Non, putain. Non. Non. Je l'enlève ton com, non. Sauvegarde, c'est pas un jeu indé, ouais. Ça raconte. Ça me fait plus peur.
Да пошел ты.
Demi-carte, évidemment. Bon, Shredder à la base était un peu en mode ouais, je sais pas trop. Pour moi, c'est validé. Finalement, ça va. C'est validé. J'ai mis une photo de ma belle manette OM. Sérieux? Sur Twitter? Oh non.
Go big. Or never go home.
Je vois pas ton truc.
Here to tell us more about the Grounded update are Adam and Eric from Obsidian Entertainment. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, it's a real honor.
No, absolutely. Love Grounded, love everything that you guys have been doing with it.
Now, my first question is
this mushroom system. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so that's one of the big things for the Shroom
Bon,
update.
là c'est Grounded.
We're really changing how the yard
C'est
is
Grounded.
with mushrooms. Every mushroom that you see in the yard is now harvestable, which is really cool. So the small ones, the big ones.
J'ai commencé à jouer, je trouvais ça sympa, et après, je sais pas.
Those were present in the yard before, but
Je
now
sais
you
pas,
can
j'étais en
actually
mode.
harvest them and get mushroom.
Je sais pas pourquoi j'ai lâché le jeu. Je peux pas me l'expliquer.
The
En
next
fait.
kind of part of that is that we're adding a couple base building elements.
C'est mieux que la création Fortnite. Hein.
So you have to take all those mushrooms that you find, and then you have to grind them up in a grinder, which is a new building, and then you have to take them to your oven, which is another new building that we're adding, and bake the mushroom stuff into bricks. And then
Par contre, c'est une vraie commu sur Grounded.
there's a whole host
Oh,
of
trop
new
stylé.
options for base builders.
C'est le Minecraft
and it's
version
more
minimaliste.
fortified walls, and a bunch of other options, so you can build a cool big castle.
Oh,
that's
really
ouf.
cool. Now, we saw the Brood Mother, so you're bringing bosses into Grounded. What can you tell me about that? What does that mean for the direction of the game as we move forward?
Yeah, so the Brood Mother is our first boss.
Grounded, t'as essayé tout à l'heure, j'ai pas accroché. J'ai pas accroché non plus. Après, je pense que faut vraiment partir en escouade avec des potes et tout, et vraiment dans le délire.
And we wanted to spend a lot of time making it a really memorable boss fight. So we put a lot of development effort behind the Brood Mother,
Max
and it's
n'aimerait
going
pas
to
ça.
really feel like a big, huge fight and a memorable one. There's a lot of kind of cool things with it. I don't want to spoil everything. I want players to kind of experience it for themselves. But it definitely is something that we want players' feedback to see, like, what do they like, what do they not like, how is the challenge? We want to make it really challenging and have a good reward for defeating the Broodmother. But is it too hard? We'd like to know that. So for future development on Grounded, like, we want to make more bosses, and so we want to get all that feedback to improve the system.
Now, you actually bring up a great point about community.
Ouais, les araignées, c'est un peu compliqué.
In a second. So, I know you don't want to spoil anything about.
Oui, dans Game Pass, dans Game Pass, hein, pas de souci.
Is there any tips you can kind of give people ahead of time on what they can do to survive that encounter?
Alors,
I would definitely say that you would need
je vous
to
préviens
make
qu'il y
sure
en a
you
un qui
have
va
the
être ban.
highest tier armor and gear up really well
Je
for this
regarde
fight
qui
because
c'est.
it is going to be difficult. And then you also want to have the right mutations equipped as well.
Il y en a un qui va
if
être
you're playing
ban.
with your friends, it might be good for one of your friends or yourself to
Ouais,
use
ça
the
va.
brand new crossbow we're going to put into the game, so you can have some ranged DPS while someone else like face tanks
Ma voix
the
est
Broodmother.
basse
So it's going to be pretty cool.
parce que ça fait peur
So again, going back to
que
community,
je vais
I
passer à
know
l'action.
you love getting feedback about Grounded, obviously
Et
starting as
donc,
an early access game.
si
but,
jamais je vois quelque chose qui ne me
what
plaît
are
pas
some of the
dans le
things
chat,
that you're looking for as far as in
je vais
this
ban les gens.
update? What was something that you got feedback-wise from the
Attention.
community that you put in this update?
Je suis vraiment
Yeah, so there's you know, it's
fâché.
one thing that we love working with community. So that's something that we as developers
Quand je
we
suis
love
en
just hearing
colère,
what people have to say
je
about the
deviens tout
game, and
rouge.
we're continually
Alors je
developing
sais,
it with the
je suis
community.
noir, c'est pas
So there's a
possible.
lot of
Mais si,
new things in
c'est possible.
our new update. One of those things is
Donc,
flipping
vous calmez.
buildings, and that's one thing that we're
Merci à
really
vous.
like just adding like those little features. Another one is just sprinting up ladders, which is something that like, you know, just hearing people how they interact with ladders and adding a sprint mode. The other one is one of our funnier features that we're adding is sitting in chairs.
Yeah.
So it's something that
Ouais,
a
alors
lot of people
ça
really,
j'aime
really
bien aussi.
wanted.
hein.
We're also interested in like the first phase of pets in the game. So we're going to start with aphids. So you'll be able to tame an aphid, run around the yard with the aphid. But you also got to make sure you protect your aphid because accidents can happen in the backyard.
Oh, there's one other thing too, achievements. So we're really excited to announce that we have achievements in
Ah,
Grounded.
c'est
That's-
cool, ça.
That's purely based on everyone's feedback. Everyone's been wanting achievements, and so we're finally adding them to the game.
That's really good. Now, again, sticking with this, the topic of community, so this was an early access game.
Je vais pas lire vos commentaires parce que là des fois c'est
Sounds
trop
like
bizarre.
pretty much the foundation
Je
of
vous
what
le dis.
Grounded is was built off of community feedback. So, how does that process work internally for you as far as people submitting, like, hey, I want to sit, you know, I want achievement pets. Like, how
Je
does
veux
that
m'asseoir.
process work?
We have a lot of like avenues where we gather feedback from the community. So we do weekly developer streams where chat can ask a bunch of questions when we have Adam on or other developers or myself.
Sympa.
And we'll gather feedback and sessions there. And then our main source of feedback is through our official Discord,
Okay.
Grounded the Game. And I use a series of bots to gather a bunch of
Il
feedback
récupère
from
les
players,
occurrences
and
en fait, j'ai
then
l'impression.
from there, me, Adam, a couple members of the team, and also from the community.
Salut Solf, Raiden. T'as loupé pas mal de trucs. Beaucoup de trucs ont été montrés. En cette 1h. Oh mince. Ah ouais. Alors, attends une seconde, parce que j'avais pas du tout vu l'heure moi en fait.
Excellent. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for taking some time to come
De
talk
rien,
to me about
merci.
this new update for Grounded. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm going to get to sit, I guess, right? So that's great.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
It's almost time for a closer look at the multiplayer trailer for Halo Infinite. But first, it's time to see
Ah oui,
what
Shredder.
the snow, the slow,
Alors on
and
a...
the powder spray look like when powered by Xbox Series X and S. This is Shredders.
Donc on a Shredders, ensuite on termine avec Halo. Bon alors ce jeu là, bon...
I'm Dirk van Welden, project lead at Foam Punch.
Hello, this is Marcus Bosch.
Ah mince, excusez-moi.
Tech lead on Shredders and Foam Punch.
Yeah, you've probably seen our trailer at the Xbox event. We've been tinkering on this game for a while now, and while it's still in development, we're happy to show you more of this game. So I'm switching to our developer drone cam. I can actually spawn wherever I want, like instantly. But I first want to show you some of the areas we've been working on.
Bah c'est clair que quand tu passes après Riders Republic, j'ai envie de te dire, bon... Va falloir, voilà quoi.
French Alps, where I've been snowboarding a lot. It has these cozy parks, sidekickers,
Oui, c'est le 3 septembre qui sort The Medium.
a lot of features in there, way more than you would expect in a normal mountain resort. But hey, this is a video game and we want as many features as possible. So yeah, like I said, this is completely open and you can go snowboarding anywhere you'd like. You can do some missions, there's like a story evolving around the main character that wants to participate in a kick-ass invitational border cross event. We can also just cruise around and find some nice lines with a good flow, like for example here in this pillow-like environment that was shown in the trailer. Or you can go up there, like take some huge kickers and big rails at the big park. And just look how big this mountain range is. Like we've got space for industrial areas and street areas. There's backcountry, high mountain riding. There's even an old Italian-looking village you can shred. A lot of these locations have been inspired by events happening all over the world and snowboarding movies that inspired us these past years. It's kind of a tribute to, in fact. Also, anywhere you go, you can always ride during golden hour due to our real-time.
La golden hour qu'on connaît bien sûr. Attends, c'est public, c'est 1000 fois mieux, vous êtes ouf. Ah, attendez, ça compare le jeu? Non, c'est pas comparable. Bon, si, certes, c'est un jeu de sport, mais les amis, n'abusons pas quand même. Attendez, je vais lire au chat, je vais lire au commentaire.
Having fun and being creative on a snowboard, that's something that we want to bring into the game. Conceptually, we're trying to keep the convention of one stick for the board and one stick for the body, and directly map that.
Je valide la blague c'est Tortue Ninja. Je valide. Ah, ça peut être sympa, hein.
So you can choose to be smooth and lazy, or if you are more like fast and aggressive, or you can change up your style however you want. You want the motions kept fluid and stylish.
Et pourtant au début je me disais les animations mais en fait si. Ça peut être un bon jeu de snow. Oh, l'open world il est un peu vide, il y a que de la neige. Là il dit ça. Y'a pas de quête, y'a pas de PNJ, wesh. Par contre c'est dommage qu'il y a rien, par contre, y'a pas de PNJ. Alors ça tu peux leur rentrer dedans si tu le fais exprès. Mais ce serait tellement cool si t'avais des PNJ genre. Là y'a rien. On dirait la montagne elle est à Watt quoi. Tu fais tout seul, c'est ton truc. Donc ça c'est standard ça, moi je fais pas ça moi. Oh, c'est sympa. Ça, je le fais pas. Belle idée. Steep c'est mieux non? Ouais, Steep... Steep t'as plusieurs sports, t'as du ski, t'as du snow, etc. Mais par contre, c'est moi où il y a un son bizarre. Ouais, c'était relou ça. Par contre, ça va plus en jouer là quand tu vends ton jeu. Ah! Bien! Nous allons terminer avec. Et j'espère que ce sera pas le truc qu'ils ont montré il y a 3 jours. Allez. Let's get it. Ça rappelle solo, je pense. Hein. C'est que le multi. Je crois que c'est ce qu'on a déjà vu l'autre jour, mais on va voir ça.
Claim the enemy flag. Return it to base. Ordnance drop inbound.
Drop.
The flag is ours. Please call at your earliest convenience. Now, show me what you can do.
Bon. Eh ben ça envoie du steak. Un multijoueur free-to-play. Ça va être cool. C'est pour les vacances.
I am so excited to have Tom, Alex, and Quinn from 343 Industries. Gentlemen, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Now, I've watched this multiplayer trailer numerous times, and I want to see some specific moments from it so we can break it down. So can we roll the trailer to 15 seconds in, and let's talk about a new character.
A new day is upon us. A new generation built to fight. Together, we are unstoppable. Are you ready?
All right, now who is this character? She looks like she's in charge.
Your senses are right there. She's very much in charge. That's Commander Lorette. She's in charge of the Spartan
c'est
Academy,
Lorette. Okay.
which is the kind of contextual wrapper that the whole multiplayer universe lives in. She is basically training the new generation of Spartans to, become better, and that's really where everything wraps around. I really love this character, and then what's cool is not only is it kind of the contextual wrapper for the game, but it's also we have a whole suite of academy features, we call them, where there's a tutorial that teaches the players the fundamental basics.
Après, ça semble expliquer en gros le bail de d'introduction. L'Académie, ça a beaucoup aidé les joueurs qui sont très novices. Donc voilà quoi. Je veux la même barbe. Ouais, moi aussi.
Now, I want to go to 50 seconds in the trailer because there was a lot of action going on, and I want to check that out.
D'accord, donc là on est en banque analyse de trailer quoi. Ouais.
No scope.
No scope.
Big shot. Killing spree.
Il a demandé comment est-ce que les gadgets s'incrémentent dans le jeu.
Now, you may have noticed I sat up in my chair a little bit on that one because there was a lot going on there. So please, if you can break that down, let me know.
Bah on voit des mecs qui tirent sur l'autre mec, c'est du multi quoi.
There's a lot to break down. I don't know if we got enough time to get all the way into it. But some of the things that I really love when I look at that trailer is that first sequence where the player, they have the bulldog shotgun, they're running through, shotgunning enemies. They grab the commando off the rack, put some shots in, low sensor. Like there's all sorts of different things that the player is interacting with, and that's the sandbox. That's what we call the sandbox. The toys that is at the
ressemble à Momo si
disposal
on
for
penche la
players'
tête.
hands.
Vous êtes sérieux ou quoi?
And we just really love that moment in the trailer where they have the grapple shot, they look up, grapple the ceiling, and then in midair, no scope snipe an enemy, come all the way down, back whack a
Mais
foe.
j'aime bien le
And
no
the rest
scope.
is history as you just see what happened in that trailer. But that's just some of the stuff that players can do, and that's actually the game. That's not just a movie for cinematic experience. Like that is the game that if players are good enough, put in time, they can
Si les
actually
joueurs
do
sont
the
assez
things that you
doués.
see in that trailer.
Si t'es
A
nul,
few things are more
va là-bas.
important to Halo multiplayer than like interacting with the sandbox and combining it, picking it up off the map and combining it into awesome play styles. So what we did was every sandbox item in the game, when it spawns, it's spawning on an object in the map, so you can see where those things can be found. And then it also tells you the respawn time of that item, when it's going to come back. And you always know, I can go grab that commando over at this spot like that guy did. So, and then when the players, accrue all those awesome items and do awesome things, you heard the return of Jeff Steitzer, the multiplayer announcer, shouting out medals. So we always want to give players medals when they do really cool things. So you heard some there, and you'll hear some later on in the trailer.
That's awesome. See, when I
Non, je
watch
suis pas
that,
blasé.
to me, that's
J'écoute,
Halo.
ouais.
That's Halo to me.
Non, mais j'ai dit, ça va être
absolutely
un
love
stream
that. Now,
chill, hein. Je vais pas parler toutes les 8 secondes.
into the
J'écoute.
trailer to 57 seconds.
J'écoute.
I heard a voice, so I want to know what this voice is. Let's see it.
Hello, let's do some damage.
Yeah, so that is the player's personal AI.
Ouais, c'est Cortana,
so
mais
in Halo 5, there was a squad leader that announced, when weapons are going to come up and other things going on in the match. And in Infinite, we have the player, like Chief has Cortana, they have a personal AI in their helmet that is kind of telling them these things. And it's also another way that players can show their personality in their characters. So there's multiple personalities and characters for the player to choose. So that the right AI is in their helmet, helping them out in combat.
I want to skip ahead a little further here because I think I might have saw a big team battle. So let's go to a minute 40 and check that out.
Il attrape une arme, il la prend, il se retourne, coup de grappin, arrive sur l'avion, dégage mon gars, boum boum boum, boum. C'est Halo ça. C'est ça qu'on aime les gars. Oh, c'est le bordel. Le mec il a sauté, il a tiré à la roquette.
The flag is ours.
The flag is ours.
Please call at your earliest convenience.
Bip bip.
That looked like big team battle to me. What's coming new? What are we going to do in big team battle in Infinite?
I mean, it's not even just
Salut
that.
à Ben
It
l'ancien.
actually a 4v4 with a vehicles map called Behemoth at the beginning.
Ça c'est un nouveau véhicule qui va vous permettre de mettre des armes en fait à l'arrière. C'est pas exactement un Warthog mais ça ressemble un peu à un Warthog.
Really wanting to index into the battle fantasy with the more players, where instead of like vehicles just spawning around the map, we have pelicans drop them off, we have ordnance pods that drop in new weapons, and inside of that whole time you have the battle commander, Lorette, talking in your ear, giving you orders and trying to kind of encourage you to play around, but really just building the whole sandbox and the play style around this whole battle experience that we're building.
Non mais
Tom brings up some good points there of Commander Lorette, and this, you've got your commander on the comms, and then you've got the pelicans dropping vehicles and items off. You got drop pods, everything. It just is like this theater of war.
Bon, après c'est pas le champ de bataille de Battlefield quand même.
It is this 12v12.
Salut Ramlaki là, quand même battu.
And just that last le
multi est parmi les plus dynamiques en multi.
The flag match is just so beautiful and awesome where you've got.
Quand tu joues, t'as pas le temps de mater les décors, la qualité graphique. Par contre, ceux qui disent le multi est moche. Alors, je peux comprendre que ça puisse rebuter. Après, je vous avoue qu'en PVP, t'as pas trop le temps de mater les textures. T'es occupé à plutôt sauver ton cul. Donc, si les multis sont moins beaux que les solos, c'est normal. L'important, c'est l'action. C'est pas être passif.
With all of the toys, all the vehicles, the modes coming back, the maps, the brand new maps that you see there. I mean, it's going to be an amazing experience.
Yeah, trust me, I cannot wait to get my hands on it for myself. But let's move on. I want to go to 208 in the trailer. Because
ouais, par contre, il va falloir nous expliquer ça, les mecs.
Let's check that out. Let's go to 208.
Regardons parce qu'il y a un truc qui m'a fait un peu. Voilà. C'est quoi cette vidéo? C'est quoi ça?
Now, show me what you can do.
Explique-moi. Just right now. What is that?
Okay. So I guess next will be a ninja because that was definitely a samurai. So
ninja et samouraï, c'est pas
talk
pareil.
About that. So we're gonna start seeing some more customization with the armor coming in.
Yeah, I mean that is a samurai Spartan armor, and so it'll be an armor you'll be able to unlock for free in the first season, which is super cool. Players will be able to equip it, gain more armor pieces and customization.
T'as raison, Momo, on peut faire un jeu avec un bon gameplay et bon en même temps. Moi, je trouve qu'il est pas moche le multi, enfin, en standard quoi, tu vois. Je sais pas. Peut-être que je suis un. Imaginez, ça se trouve, je deviens un fanboy, mais sans m'en rendre compte.
Awesome. Look, now before we get out of here, first of all, I want to thank all of you for being here to talk about Halo Infinite. I'm excited. I can't wait to get my hands on it and play it. But before we do leave, is there anything else that you want to bring up and let fans out there know about?
Il sort demain.
Well, I'm excited for people to actually get their hands on it like yourself.
Arrêtez de nous saouler avec la qualité du solo, c'est vraiment relou. Sérieusement les gars, on a fait notre maximum. Vous êtes trop habitués à des jeux photoréalistes alors que nous on a plutôt fait les minimums. Enfin je dis minimum mais ça c'est le discours marketing et un peu bref.
Infinite multiplayer is free to play, which is new to the franchise. The team is super excited to hopefully bring in you know, all sorts of fans that have potentially never experienced the franchise or haven't played it in a long time to just try it out, come in and try it out with your friends.
Me, with my buddies, if I have some friends out there that haven't played Halo before, I'm like, well, it's free. Just come on. Let's jump in, download it. Let's check it out.
Let's jump in. Le slogan d'Xbox sur l'air Xbox One. Fais genre que t'as pas fait exprès de dire le truc.
PC, right? Like this is a PC game as well. We've been putting a lot of effort into that. So not only is it going to be console, but
ah, c'est free to play. C'est full free to play.
Like the barrier to entry is
T'inquiète.
so low, and that has us excited. And I think as we really just to really think about it, is we've been working on this game, and as developers, when you work on a game, you want to get that game out there, and that almost seems like for us that's the finish line, but in reality, it's going to be
que le début, hein.
For
non mais en plus, pour avoir parlé un peu avec des développeurs, etc., qui bossaient sur différents projets, ils avaient sorti ça en plus, ils disaient, c'est la fin d'un truc, mais ceci est le commencement de quelque chose. Parce qu'aujourd'hui, tous les jeux, maintenant, tu dois avoir un suivi. C'est très rare des devs qui livrent leur jeu et point barre, tu vois, ils se cassent. Et surtout du jeu où t'as du multi comme Infinite, ou Halo en général, c'est que le début en fait. C'est comme un enfant. Il y a 9 mois, voilà, et puis ensuite... Oui. Oui. Mais ça, on l'a déjà vu ensemble, hein.
And allow me to give a big thanks to everyone who's joined us today.
T'as déjà près de 2 heures hein, quand même.
Favorite games on Xbox, PC, or Game Pass. The next 12 months will be nothing short of spectacular.
Ah oui.
It's been my absolute honor
Ça va être cool.
To be your host and share this experience with you. But before I go, here's a gameplay deep dive from the team behind the highly anticipated.
Wow, Scarlet Nexus, on va se faire démonétiser, mon dieu. Non. Putain les mecs, vous aviez un jeu. Vous aviez un jeu. Pourquoi ce jeu? Je vous explique un peu la situation. Bandai Namco adore protéger ses jeux. Un peu trop. Scarlet Nexus, dès qu'il y a une image du jeu, la vidéo elle saute, démonétisée, rien du tout. Une fois même elle est bloquée. Non, elle n'a pas été bloquée, démonétisée. Voilà, là on est dans la merde là. Bon, je vous le laisse. Et quand même, Bandai, si vous nous regardez, s'il vous plaît, débloquez-nous. Un poil de chat. Oui, pardon, les effets de ray tracing, effectivement. L'avantage, c'est que je transpire plus. Parce qu'il arrêtait de faire chaud, en fait. Un peu.
であともう一つはそのセルシェーディングのキャラクターとリアリスティックな映像が混ざることによってまたそこでも異質な見た目ちょっと面白い見た目にならないかなっていうのも模索しました。でただ単にセルシェーディングのキャラクターをリアリスティックな背景に置いてしまうとすごく浮いてしまって見た目が変になってしまうっていうのを懸念してたんですけどうまくそこを混ざるように工夫したっていうのが今回の苦労した点の一つであります。例えば今映像の中で東京タワーが映ってると思うんですけれどこれは日本では有名なランドマークで海外の人も見たことがあるかもしれないものと思うんですけどその東京タワーがものすごく大きな
Je vous mens pas, il l'aurait mis dans une vraie conf. Dans le truc là, bon peut-être pas tout le bail, mais des gros temps de parole où c'est long, il l'aurait mis. Tu l'as essayé Scarlet Nexus? Ah pas du tout, de toute façon pas du tout. Et moi j'aime pas les enfin, c'est mon truc mais bon, bof. Ça a l'air sympa mais c'est pas trop bizarre de finir avec ce jeu là, bah Scarlet Nexus il a un deal je crois avec Xbox. Un deal au moins commercial, pour les pubs. C'était sympa pour une conf de dev, je m'attendais à pire. Oui moi aussi je m'attendais à bien pire, je m'attendais à bien pire. Il y avait une certaine mise en scène et tout, même le rythme était un peu plus lent mais c'est normal aussi. Mais c'était sympa, c'était sympa. Par contre je sais pas combien de temps ça dure ça là. Ah ça continue.
主人公たちに立ちはだかる敵なんですけれど、この見た目については私はその新規 IP、新しい IP の新しいクリーチャーということで、変わった見た目、何か興味を引く見た目にしたいというのが一つありました。 でその上で、私たちの感覚とは違うものを取り入れたいというのがきっかけにありまして、実際にアーティストの力を借りてこの会議のデザインを再現しています。
The Others.
でそのアーティストの表現というのは、
Non mais il y a une recherche artistique et tout.
がありながらも、その詩の世界だとか、
Ouais, ça c'est bizarre ça.
イメージを一つにしたような幻想的な表現をする。
Mais non, c'est pas que j'en peux plus. Arrêtez de dire ça quand je suis sur mon téléphone et que je suis en train d'organiser des trucs. Votre note, oui, parce qu'effectivement on n'aura pas le temps de faire un after show. Bah, n'hésitez pas à balancer votre note sur 10 dans le chat. Combien vous notez cette conférence qui était des paroles de dev. Ne sortez pas. Moi je mets 0 parce que il n'y a pas eu GTA 6. Pour moi c'est un bon 8 sur 10 ou un 7 sur 10. C'est très bizarre ça par contre.
なのでモーションを作るときには人間っぽい部分だけ
は
キャプチャーを使ってるんですけど、そうでない部分は手付けなどにして、その
Non 8 parce qu'en vrai c'était sympa. C'était plus sympa que
ミックスさせることで、
Non 8.
不思議な動きにできないかなっていうのを考えてました。
7, 8, 7, 7. Ouais, franchement, sympa. On est tous un peu pareils. Hein. On va dire qu'on a plutôt bien apprécié cette conf. 7, 7,5, 7,5, voire 8, un grand 8, un 7,5, un 8 sur 10. 8 c'est très bien. Sony sur 10. Et moi je suis surpris parce que je m'attendais pas à ce que ce soit aussi rythmé quoi en fait. L'orage c'est violent. J'ai bien l'inspiration pour ce jeu. Oui, il y a pas mal de... Enfin, c'est très recherché en fait. Hein, de façon... Chez Chounet sur 20. Chez Chounet sur 20. Voilà. Au moins 47 sur 10. Ah oui, Ah oui, là c'est très bien. Ça aime bien le jeu quoi. Le mot sur 10, c'est pas quel. Oh merci les amis. Ça m'a fait plaisir de faire cette conf avec vous. C'était 1100 d'ailleurs en pic, c'était super cool, merci. Un résumé dans 10 minutes, Momo. Difficilement. Difficilement. Dans 10 minutes, difficilement, je vais pas vous mentir. J'aurais dû prendre des notes aussi. J'ai pas pris de notes. On verra. Xbox a peut-être compris comment gérer les confs, avoir les suivants. Oui, je pense que là, ils ont dû se dire... On va déverrouiller un peu le truc. C'est pour ça que j'aimerais bien savoir si c'est un cas isolé ou si Xbox à partir de maintenant fait des bonnes confs. Enfin, de très bonnes confs. Parce qu'il y a eu des bonnes confs, mais là c'est une très bonne conf. J'ai peur. Et par pitié, je prie chaque parcelle de mon âme pour que Phil Spencer reste le plus longtemps possible. J'aimerais qu'il ne prenne jamais sa retraite, cet homme. Ou alors qu'il forme quelqu'un qui soit dans la même lignée que lui. Parce qu'il est la meilleure chose qui soit arrivée à Xbox depuis très longtemps. Donc Phil Spencer, si tu passes par là... bah j'aimerais bien manger un morceau avec toi quand même. Mais ne pars jamais. Ne quitte jamais Xbox. Qu'on soit très clair. Vous imaginez, Phil Spencer il part et genre il y a un mec il arrive il fait ouais le Game Pass c'est pas ouf, on va supprimer, désolé on enlève, ouais, on enlève, la fête est finie. Voilà. T'imagines? Miskina quoi. Merci Augustin pour ton soutien, ça fait plaisir. Vive Don Matrick, ouais, bah non, Don Matrick il est très bien où il est, d'accord, laissez Don Matrick tranquille. Oui, par contre, effectivement, je pense que Titouan, en boss d'Xbox Monde, ça le fait pas mal. Ça le fait pas mal. En tout cas, il a un petit over smash, ça fait plaisir. Après, Todd Howard, le problème, c'est que je trouve qu'il a pas les épaules pour diriger Xbox. Il fait avec Bethesda, mais je trouve pas que... Enfin, vous voyez ce que je veux dire? Enfin, je sais pas. Prends la relève de Spencer. Alors, non, je ne prends parti, enfin je ne bosse pour aucune société, aucun constructeur. Puis moi, de vous à moi, si ça donnait... Enfin, si ça ne tenait qu'à moi, si j'étais boss d'Xbox, mais il n'y a pas de discussion. Elder Scrolls 6 c'est full exclu, tous les jeux Bethesda c'est full exclu, dans ta tronche et puis voilà. Il n'y a pas de ouah, peut-être réfléchir, on est désolé, il n'y a pas de ça frère. On a mis 7 milliards sur la table, faut rentabiliser quoi.
ポピュラーで誰しもがその一度は使ってみたいっていう超能力を選定してます。本作のキーワードとして赤い線っていうものがあるんですけど、サスを使った時に
bon là c'est la fin de la conf, hein, c'est normal, mais c'est un peu long. Assure-toi, Momo chez Spencer depuis 2017 fait partie des 12 décisions de la table Microsoft et c'est Satya Nadella qui a promu vice-président. Ouais, bah Satya Nadella il aime bien Phil Spencer. Il aime bien Phil Spencer. Marc Cerny quitte Sony, il arrive chez Microsoft. Ah, mais ça ce serait du mercato, mais violent les gars. Violent le mercato là. Imaginez Cory Barlog qui quitte Santa Monica et qui va dans un studio Xbox. Alors là. Et Momo, s'il te propose un beau chèque, tu diras pas non non plus. Oui, mais... Enfin oui, mais... Bon... Peut-être qu'un jour dans ma vie, je ne sais pas, quand j'aurai... je sais pas quel âge, je sais rien. Peut-être qu'un jour je dirais, bah écoutez, j'ai envie de bosser dans l'industrie, d'être chez un éditeur, un studio, un constructeur. Ça peut arriver, hein, j'ai déjà pensé en plus, hein, plusieurs fois, mais... Ça peut arriver. Ça peut être cool en vrai. Mais sûrement pas tout de suite. J'ai pas l'expérience. J'ai pas le talent, j'ai pas l'opportunité, et j'ai pas envie pour le moment. Mais on n'est pas à l'abri, hein, ça peut arriver qu'un jour je dise bah les gars, je vais bosser pour tel éditeur ou tel constructeur, ça peut être cool. J'exclus pas la possibilité. Mais actuellement, pas du tout. Pas du tout le moment. Voilà. Bon, par contre, messieurs, c'est quand même un peu long. Je sais pas si j'arrête. Ce qui est quand même... Ne dire jamais et puis c'est la vie. Oui, jamais jamais. Momo, tu nous fais jamais une soprano à dire moi j'ai pas une soprano. Moi, non mais c'est pas ça. Bah, vous avez compris. Vous avez compris le bail. C'est fini en quelques minutes. T'attends STP. Bien sûr. Momo chez Ubisoft. Je répondrai pas. Peut-être. Voilà. C'est juste tel. Mercato, Julien Chiez achète. Je pense pas que Julien Chiez voudra m'acheter. Déjà, Julien Chiez n'achète pas les gens. Il pas les personnes quoi. Donc, je pense pas. Ça a l'air très dynamique, mais c'est long. C'est juste... Momo chez Core Media, Momo chez Rockstar. Ah, attendez, dans le chat, dernier truc, avant de finir. Si je bosse dans l'industrie, vous pensez que j'irai chez quel éditeur ou quel constructeur? Parce que je vois PlayStation, et là il embauche Nono chez PlayStation. Alors, par contre, Arnaud chez PlayStation, c'est clair. Mais qu'est-ce que je veux dire, ouais, quel éditeur ou quel constructeur? Allez-y. Je serais surpris de voir certaines réponses. Atari. Bon, Ruben, sinon mon épreuve ça s'est bien passé. Bah en fait j'ai fait mon bail et le prof il a dit c'est bien, il s'est barré, il m'a pas revu. Ubisoft, Rockstar, Xbox, Arcane. Qu'est-ce qui devient un joueur passionné? Ubisoft, Momo Game Studio, pas mal. Ubisoft pour... Ah, vous avez beaucoup à dire Ubisoft. Hein. Xbox pour le Game Pass, Agent Quadruple, Insomniac, hein, Asobo, Bethesda, Capcom, Xbox sur Stadia. C'est marrant. Rockstar, GTA tous les ans. Ubisoft pour un Splinter Cell, CD Projekt, Asobo, Arcane c'est Xbox, Momo chez From Software. Oh, j'ai commencé Far Cry. Dark Souls 3 hier, je suis pas bien. Kojima Productions, je te vois bien chez Asobo, moi. Hein, le studio de Plague Tale, Acti Pognon, c'est pas bien. Bah je vous avoue que si je travaille dans l'industrie, je pense que j'irai soit chez Asobo ou chez Focus de façon globale, parce que Focus il y a du boulot. Et c'est aussi un truc qui peut être cool. Soit chez Ubisoft, parce qu'Ubisoft il y a beaucoup... Et si par contre, si je vais à Ubisoft, je me barre à Montréal, hein, je vous le dis tout de suite. Hein. Ah bah c'est fini. Je vais arrêter rapidement. Donc soit Ubisoft, soit Asobo, soit Xbox, hein, ou PlayStation. L'affaire est à suivre. Je vous remercie beaucoup d'avoir suivi ce stream, mes amis. Je vais couper parce que normalement on est censé enchaîner sur un autre stream. Ne vous inquiétez pas, la chaîne continue. L'activité ne s'arrête pas ici, bien au contraire, cette musique est juste terrible. En tout cas, c'était cool pour cette conf. On reparlera évidemment de mes potentielles velléités sur ce genre de choses bien plus tard. En tout cas, merci beaucoup de m'avoir suivi. Je vais arrêter le flux non commenté tout de suite. Excusez-moi, j'ai juste aucun sens. Voilà. Qu'est-ce que je disais? Donc oui, merci à tous d'avoir suivi. Évidemment, je vous dis à très vite, enfin dans quelques minutes, sur la chaîne pour de nouvelles aventures. Une petite surprise plutôt sympathique. Et puis, prenez soin de vous. Mais c'était cool de faire ce truc avec vous. Et pour ceux qui matent la rediff, n'hésitez pas à écrire dans les commentaires. Je suis une grosse crevette. Merci à vous. Des bisous. À très vite. À dans quelques instants. Ciao ciao. Et je vais mettre la scène de fin. Regardez, ça suit les conneries. Au revoir.